Now, you're tired of paying for 50, 60, 70, or even $100 per lead just to find out that they're a time waster, they don't pick up the phone, and you can't even deliver a quote. Being sold by agencies on the dream of getting heaps of really cheap leads, and even if you are getting them for cheap, they don't actually convert. Now you're stuck spending time calling these leads when you could be quoting, and I'm sure you're worth more than a few phone calls in regards to hiring that out and what that's into. I'll get into that in a few more minutes. Many tradies are frustrated with this. I speak to hundreds of tradies every single week, and this is the problem. I don't know if I want to spend the money on your leads because I don't know if they're going to convert. I've worked with this agency and I've done this work before, and I hear it time and time again. And if you're a tradie, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Now, by the end of this video, I promise that I'm going to break down why cost per lead doesn't even matter. Everyone's focused on, I want to pay this per lead, and if it's $500 per lead, or if it's $60 per lead, or if it's $5 per lead, or I can get you the cheapest leads. And this is what the agencies say. This is what the pay per lead companies do. The guy that's saying he can run your SEO or your ads or whatever it may be, this is their claims. I can get you cheap leads and they will convert. But we all know, and we all have a story where that's just not the case. So in this video, I'm going to break down to show you why that cost doesn't matter. You could pay $1,000 or you could pay $2,000, and it doesn't really matter because you're missing one of the most important metrics. And I'm going to break this down in this video right now. Hello, my name's Jordan Burkett. I'm the owner of My Reno Quotes, business partner with Sean. And in this video, I'm going to break down everything that I just mentioned here. Now, if I don't know you, welcome to the channel. We post videos like this, and I'm just breaking down common beliefs, common knowledges, and trying to help share and educate everyone so everyone can be on the same page. I've worked with thousands of agencies, been behind the agency scene and in different agencies all around New Zealand, Australia, and the US, working with tradies, working with cleaners, working with all these different types of people. And I've seen the back end, I've seen the marketing systems, I've seen the sales system, how they word things, and I understand everything. And I'm here to expose it all so you can see how this all works and actually break down all of these terms so you as tradies can get the best deal and you can get the most converting, highest converting leads, get the best type of job so you can run a profitable company, scale predictably, and not have to say things like it's a slow market, or people aren't spending right now, or it's winter so people don't want to do work. Just in the past week here at My Reno Quotes, we've had 330 grand worth of work come through, and we're not even spending that much money on our advertising right now. So there is work out there. My team speaks to homeowners every single day that are ready for quotes, that have money sitting in their account, and they just need to find the right tradesperson. So if you're looking for qualified quotes, let me know and we can have a conversation. I'll leave a link down in the comment section in the description of this video below. But that's not what we're here to talk to about today. Now, I'm just going to quickly explain what a cost per lead is. Most of you already know, but in case you don't, a cost per lead, a CPL, is how much you pay for someone's contact details. A lead is usually boiled down to a name, a phone number, and an email address. Sometimes it's just one of those, a name or two of them, just a name and a phone number, or just a name and an email. Sometimes there's an address, and sometimes depending on how qualified that lead is, there might be other details. So if it's a homeowner, for example, it might say what type of renovation they want done. Is it a kitchen? Is it a bathroom? And you can get more and more specific, okay? So the more specific you get on the leads and what type of lead and the area it's in, the higher the cost per lead is. So you can get really broad leads for really cheap, which is cool and it's great. And I think it's good to test out different leads and what leads work best for your company. But usually in this day and age, we want specific. And I'm totally happy to pay more for a lead. I don't really care what the cost per lead is, as long as the conversion is there. Because one of the most important things is cost per acquisition or cost per sold job in a trader. And again, I'll break this all down in a second, so stay with me here. The common practice though with working with different agencies or pay per lead models is these guys will sell you leads, right? Or give you leads or charge you a retainer to go and get the leads. And they will be handing you off leads of someone that's scrolling on social media or searching through Google, and they click on it and they fill out this form and they come across a landing page or a form to fill out. They'll put in their name, their phone number, their email address, and they'll click enter. Now you've got a lead, okay? But just imagine, right? Your ads are being spent, you're spending $1,000 a month, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, maybe it's pay per lead, whatever it may be, right? Doesn't really matter. These people are stopping because of the advertising and putting their details in. Now, massive difference between a qualified lead and a lead, okay? Just because the big claim to fame is it's a qualified lead when they fill those details out, when they answer these specific questions. Yes, it is a bit more qualified than just the name. You now know maybe their address, the type of job they want done. Yeah, cool, that's great information. But once they become a lead, that doesn't mean that 100% you're going to guarantee to close them. The next step is the most important step, right? You calling the lead. Now, does this person pick up? Is this person going to pick up and even have a conversation? Now, there's two scenarios that happens. You've got an appointment setter, and your appointment setter is calling all of these leads, okay? Maybe you're paying someone $30 an hour, something like that. You're training, you're managing them, whatever that may be. And they're calling all of your leads for you and then just booking in quotes. A lot of tradies that I know, they don't have that. Some of the bigger, larger companies do. They'll have someone in the office and they'll be calling and dealing with those leads and booking them in for the salespeople. You may have that, and great. If you do, that's amazing. And if you're not, you're probably the one doing it, the tradie, the business owner. You're doing a job that's worth $30 an hour to save money, or like maybe you don't even have enough leads coming in each month, right? If you're only spending $1,000 a month on ads, or you're only getting a few quotes booked in, or you're only buying a few leads from these pay per lead kind of people, it doesn't make sense to hire someone part-time or full-time because you don't have enough leads to service. There's not enough work. So it's like you're sort of stuck in this hard place where you're calling the leads and then trying to book them in a quote and things like this. Now you may think, and I totally get this, that you calling these leads makes sense because you're then going to go and see them at the home and do a quote for them as well. So you're sort of building that relationship, you're building that rapport. While I agree that that is happening, and yes, you are building a relationship with them, and yes, you are speaking to them already, what about all the people that don't pick up? What about all of the people that don't even have any money that you speak to? What about all of the people that just want their toilet seat lid changed and you've just paid $60 for this lead? How valuable are those leads? Arguably, they mean absolutely zero. They're tire kickers, they're time wasters. They don't mean anything, and they are a waste of money. Now, why I'm saying all of this is because there's a lot of misconceptions around lots of different parts and stages, and I feel like there's a gap missing in the marketplace with the tradies between the different metrics, and I wanna break this all down. So I appreciate you staying with me while I break this down. Now we're gonna look at cost per quote. Okay, so let's say you're getting leads for $50. Okay, now let's break it down. Let's go one step further. You understand cost per lead, you fully get that. Now the next metric, the most important metric, and a very important metric you should be tracking, and if you're not, you need to go and look at this, and you can look back on your numbers, by the way, and work all of this out when I give you this framework, is cost per quote. Okay, so how many leads do you need to get one quote? Okay, so let's say you're spending $50 on a lead, you get 5 leads. Okay, you're spending $250, and out of those 5 leads, let's say you get one quote. Okay, so there's 4 leads that either don't pick up, don't chat to you, a tire kicker is not worth booking in the quote, and then there's one that you're like, okay, you had a conversation with them, they've got some money, they've got a job, it's worth it, it's a $50,000 bathroom reno, whatever it may be, right? And you book the quote in. Now that quote has cost you $250 because all of the other 4 leads that didn't come through, you still spent money on. So it's like just breaking it down to the next step. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I've tried to explain that in very simple terms. Now, how many quotes are you getting per month? Okay, you're getting 1 quote, you're getting 2 quotes, you're getting 3. Now, a lot of you rely on word of mouth and referral. I'm going to do a small tangent here. The difference between a referral lead and a lead coming through marketing and a system is that this other referral lead has come from a family member, a friend, a neighbor, someone they trust, and that person has said, hey person, hey family member, hey friend, I know we've got trust, and I've got this builder or this renovation company that I also trust. So you can trust that I trust, and it's this trust circle. And it's like, sweet, I'll just call them. I don't even need to get other quotes. I'll just call this guy. I already know I can trust him. And I'll just get his one quote and I'll just get him to do the job because I know he'll give me a fair price. Okay, that is the best type of lead. It's why every single building company in New Zealand has word of mouth leads. If you're a good builder, if you're a quality builder, if you price fairly, etc., as we all know, if you're up to standard. Now that's usually how everyone judges everyone. Do you get word of mouth referrals or do you not? Because that's a pretty easy way to find out if you're a good builder or not. Now that lead are great, right? Everyone gets them, some people less than others depending on what's going on. Now the difference between that lead and a lead through Facebook or Google or Instagram or SEO or YouTube or whatever it may be is completely different because they don't know you, right? They don't know you. They've just seen your ad. You said, hey, I can give you a free quote. Hey, here's a $2,000 cashback on a job. Hey, do you want this XYZ? Okay. They don't know you. They don't trust you. They have not come in from somewhere. It is now your job as a salesperson and within your marketing process to warm them up to trust you. And how we do that is by showing them proof. Hey, here's some work that I've done. Here's some photos. Here's a video of a house we renovated. Here's the address so you can actually go and check it out. Here's our website. Here's all of our staff. Hey, here's some content. This is what we're doing. Here's a funny video of us at work or whatever it may be. And they're starting to build a picture and an image of who you are before you've even spoken to them. Okay. Massive thing right there. You're building up the trust. Okay. Testimonials, using social proof. Okay, using the testimonials to say, hey, all these other people trust me. I've got 100 Google reviews here, 100 Facebook reviews here, whatever it may be, and they've all said we're great. So here you can see, and I'm going to make sure you see that before I speak to you, so you trust me, so you book the quote in. Okay, so you can see all of these different touch points, and now there's lots of ways you can do that. I'm not going to break this down in a video now. I've probably already gone too much into it. But I can do that if that's a helpful conversation, because tradies that have these systems in place close more jobs than people that don't. So that's probably something worth mentioning. So now you know the difference between a referral lead and a lead that's come through marketing. Okay, you're gonna get more quotes booked in with the referral leads, and you're gonna get less quotes booked in with these leads. But what's important is that you track it, because if you get 5 leads and you book 1 quote, and then you close that quote, you know it's going to cost you $250 to acquire a job, which brings me down to the last point here, cost per acquisition or cost per closed job. So now what's important here, I'll break down an example. You've got 20 leads, okay? You've paid $50 each for those leads. It's $1,000, okay? You spent $1,000 on pay per lead, wherever the leads come from, doesn't really matter, it's completely irrelevant. As long as it's just through a marketing channel, right? So you've paid $1,000, you've got these leads. Now, half of them either don't pick up. A tire kicker's wasting time, they've got a fake number in, so you've wasted $500. Okay, that is normal, by the way. Everyone, you've got to get used to the fact that that's just what it is. And I'll explain to you why, and I'll explain to you how you can track what your agency is doing, what your pay per lead company or whatever, and you can track these metrics so you can hold your marketing people accountable, because without that, you're just going to say, oh, these leads are shit and you're not good at your job. That's not professional, because you need to track these metrics and you need to know them for yourself so you can understand how to scale, which is the thing that I'll get into after this. So again, 20 leads, 10 of them have wasted $500 out the door, goodbye. Now 10 of them book in quotes. Okay, 10 quotes are booked. So 10 book quotes means, and you spend $1,000, that means it's $100 per quote, because you've got to remember all those other leads that were trash. You've got $100 per quote. Okay, cool. Not a bad price. $100 to get a quote. That's pretty good. That's not realistic, but let's just use it for example's sake. It's easy numbers to understand. And then you go to all 10 quotes. Maybe one of them, 2 of them aren't there. Let's say one of them had to reschedule because they had to go to work or whatever. and then, maybe you actually deliver 6 quotes, and you've now delivered 6 actual quotes. And there's like another cost there, quotes actually delivered, right? Another little important metric in there, but not as important. Now, out of 6 quotes, let's say some of them get back to you, say, hey, the price is too much. Hey, I don't actually have the money right now. I was just getting a price. I'll hit you up in 6 months. And then it comes down to the last 3, and they say yes. Oh, great, perfect. 3 people out of 20 have said yes. Okay, awesome. That's not bad. Now, it cost me $1,000 to do all of that. $500 was wasted, and there was all this wastage, and I spent all my time phoning them and doing the quotes, and there's all the time, travel costs, and all the other things that you've got to put into account as cost per acquisition or cost per closed job that come into account with that, right? I know my guys in Auckland sometimes have to travel across the city, and depending on the time of day, that can be a very long trip, and it can cost lots, and obviously your time is worth something, so that's costing you money as well, okay? So you add it all up, and then for each job closed, you close 3, you divide 3 by 1,000. Awesome. So if you divide that 1,000 by 3, you end up with a cost of $333.33. So that means it cost you $333 to acquire 1 job. Okay? So, and then the ROI on that, let's say you close, all jobs are, let's just say 25 grand, you've got 75 grand, you spent $1,000 and made 75 grand. Revenue, you can work out the profits on the back end depending on your margins, and you can do that math, right? You can do those numbers for yourself so you can see what it is. Now, you say, oh my God, $333 to close a job. Or maybe your number is 500, maybe yours is 1,000. These costs all come into play on cost per lead, total time used to travel and quote, how much time you spent calling all of those leads, and then that took you away from doing actual quoting on real quotes that are qualified and you can actually speak to, or doing work, or whatever it may be. There's a few things that come into that total cost that I haven't really mentioned, but you can sort of imagine everything that it costs me to acquire a job. You average that out. Now, if you've done it through a marketing system, because you can't, it's a lot harder to build consistency through word of mouth and referrals. It's not like you can just put money to word of mouth and referrals and then you get all these leads and whatever. You can set up referral programs. You can set up all these kind of things, which is a really good thing to do, and you should definitely do if you haven't set up. Entices them to do so. But let's say you've put it through a marketing system. If you want another job, you go and put $333 into that system, and it gives you another 25 grand. And you go, okay, why is that important? Right, so I know that if I want to hire 2 more staff and I need X amount of jobs, I need an extra 3 jobs a week or 2 jobs a week for a month, I know that I have to spend 333 times 2, spending $666 a week, putting into your marketing system, which will generate all of those leads, but come out with those 2 jobs, right? The 2 winning jobs, and now you've got work for your staff. And then you do the same the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and now you've got a system. Money in, money out. $333 in, 25 grand out. Maybe it's a lot more than that. Maybe the cost per lead is, maybe the cost to acquire a job is $1,000. You have to spend a lot more and you have to do more quotes and whatever. But if you're getting like a 70 grand job out of it, $1,000 in, 70 grand, $1,000 in, $1,500 in, 100 grand, $1,500 in, 50 grand. You know what I mean? Like, you can start to play around with these numbers and figure out what's going to work for you. Okay. So now you've got all of these different costs, and I suggest that you break these down. This is very important. Okay. Because you might think you have a good deal with your agency, or you might think you have a good deal with an in-house marketing person, or whatever it may be. But if you don't know what these numbers are, you don't know what your costs are, you don't have a system, you're just throwing shit at walls and hoping that you get jobs. That's not business. You need to have accurate numbers that you can track and measure, because if you can track and measure them, you can either, one, improve them if they're not working well, or the cost is like you're spending like $5 grand to get a job and you're only getting like a 25 grand job, and you work out your margins and you realize, shit, I'm actually losing money. and maybe that's why my business isn't working. And there's lots of other things that you can do, and you can go, okay, how can we improve it? How can we bring the costs down? And then also get better paying jobs. How is that working in the marketing? And that's a marketing person can deal with that, and you work alongside them with that, giving them the feedback. But now you've got KPIs you can hold people accountable to, and without them, you just had to blindly trust and put faith into these different agencies of kind and hope that this was going to happen. And we all know that business is not run on hope. A lot of agencies, I mentioned this before, will get you to call the leads. Maybe you're even getting leads yourself. Maybe you're running your own ads. I just know that mainly people work with agencies, but maybe you are running your own ads, and maybe you're calling the leads. Now, let's just say last year you made 500 grand profit. Good numbers. You made 500 grand. You divide that over 12 months. Okay. Ends up coming about $260 an hour. That's how much you're worth, right? So you can find out however much you made profit last year, divide that by 12, and then split that up by 4 weeks, and then obviously split up over 40 hours or 50 hours, whatever you sort of do on average. You can work out how much you're worth per hour. Once you've worked that out, anything that costs less than that, you now outsource. Because if you were doing the other tasks that you're doing that makes you those money, you shouldn't be doing a job that's you can hire out for $60 an hour, $75 an hour, because you can make $260 doing that. Whatever your number is, do the math on it. Really easy to work out. Moral of the story, you shouldn't be calling your leads. Like if you are still calling your leads in 2025 as a business owner, then there's something going on. There's a disconnect between something there. So do that math, and if you're earning more than $30 an hour, $35 an hour, then you need to outsource that. Now, the next thing is, do you want to train and manage and hire an appointment setter? Is that something you want to do? Yeah, maybe. Or is, again, how much money are you worth? Do you want to just get someone else to do that? So again, just some other things to be aware of. Just getting cheap leads don't necessarily solve your problems. They're sold to you as, hey, we've got real cheap leads, you can come get these leads. But now you're left with all these other hidden costs and all these things that they don't mention. These agencies, these guys that go around and do them. Again, like I said, I know this because I've worked behind the scenes of all of them. And, I've worked inside of and partnered with and ran my own one-on-one agency and done the setup and had awesome results with people, and we're tracking these metrics and we understand them. So really the result in that is trying to save money, handling the leads yourself is costing you time where you could potentially bill yourself out at, right? So you might think that you're saving money, but in reality you could actually be losing money or just breaking even. Like, you just got to have a look at the numbers. Now, if you don't spend at least $5,000 a month on ads, it's probably not worth getting an appointment setter in, because they won't have full-time hours, which means they're going to be jumping in between other stuff. If they're jumping in between other things, you're not going to have their full focus. They're going to be pulled away. A lead might come through and it's not called within the first 5 minutes, and then the conversion rate on that specific lead drops off, because that's what happens. And if you're not able to call the lead in 5 minutes and you can get to the leads the next day because you've been quoting all day or on the tools, your conversion rate is dropping, your cost per quote will go up, your cost per acquisition will go up. There's all these other things that will happen if leads aren't dealt with properly. So if you're doing them, or you don't have an appointment setter, or you do have an appointment setter, or you want to get an appointment setter, but you don't have the right ad spend, again, you've got to sort of weigh up your options here. What am I doing with my business? Am I trying to scale right now, or do I just want to maintain? And how can we make all of that possible? There's lots of different ways, and I can give you a few options. Now, to summarize a lot of this, okay, I've gone over a few points. I've gone deep on some things. Now, why agencies and pay per lead? I used to run an agency, right? So I understand all of the ins and the outs. These guys are selling you leads, or selling you the dream of getting you a consistent flow of leads, to be left with you paying high cost per quote, high cost per acquisition, a second job of appointment setting. They're not qualifying the leads. A form, someone writing something in, doesn't mean that they are qualified. It means they know how to use their phone and type their fingers. It might be 11 p.m. at night, and they're just scrolling. They're like, just saw a video on a new kitchen. They're like, oh my God, I want a new kitchen. And they fill it out and it's like they don't even have 2 dimes to run together. These are the kind of leads that you'll be getting. And even the qualified ones, it's great. But again, just look back to the cost. Some of these agencies out here do great work, amazing work. Some of them, the pay-per leads, they do great. Like, I'm not dogging on everyone here. Majority of them, though, are not going to tell you about these things, leave you with the second job, and leave you with all of these hidden costs that later will cost you. And when you figure out, you realize, damn, I've actually been spending a lot more money than I thought than just that cheap lead. And maybe a cheap lead isn't the answer, right? Maybe cost per quote, getting like decent quality, high quality quotes at a fair price is better, because I quote less, but I'm closing more jobs, which means my cost per acquisition is lower. There's all these other things you can start to think about. So, hearing all of this, I've worked in the agencies, like I was saying before. Now, hearing all of this feedback myself, speaking to tradies over the past year or two, listening to their problems, listening to their challenges, hearing the different stories they've got, and everyone's got an agency story, or these different platforms and websites that are running and all these things. This is exactly why we've built My Reno Quotes. Every single problem that the agency space has, or the pay-per lead, or the platforms or the websites have, we have solved with My Reno Quotes. There's no point in me completely changing my business model from what it used to be to this, to just build another platform or pay-per shitty lead agency, right? Like, there's no point. Tradies don't want that. Homeowners don't want that. And no one wants to be working with unhappy customers. Like, what that's like, and it's not a good place to be, and it's not like a life you want to lead or live, and it doesn't inspire you, and the business seems meaningless, and you don't even make that good money, and it's not the place where you want to be. So that's why here at My Reno Quotes, we eat the cost of ads. We pay for the ads ourselves. We don't charge you, and we pay for the ads ourselves out of our own money. We manage a full-time team of dedicated New Zealand local appointment setters. Every single lead is called, qualified, made sure they've got a job description and a budget, and their budget matches their job description, and the expectations have been set based on what they've got. Do they need consent? And if so, have you started that process? All of those kind of things that is going to deem a qualified lead, right? Probably a conversation you would have with the lead before you go over and deliver them a quote. Then we send over these quote ready leads to our tradies that we have here, and it's just a pay per quote model. So we take care of all of those bottom costs, leaving you with a lower cost per acquisition, cost to acquire a job, and a lower cost per quote, and you don't have to do the appointment setting, pay for the leads, any of that. You just do what you do best, quoting and selling, building relationships with new customers, and servicing and managing your team on your old or current projects. So this is why cost per lead doesn't matter, and you need to stop being sold on the dream of cost per lead agencies and other agencies saying they can get you cheap qualified leads. It doesn't matter. It's the cost per acquisition you've got to look at, and that is the true test on, is this a good marketing system or not? Don't waste your time calling leads. You're worth more than $30 an hour. And if you want quote ready homeowners that are qualified and just looking for a tradie to complete the job with real budgets and real time in today's market on a consistent basis, without you having to do all the unnecessary tire kicking and work, so you can scale your business profitably and make money in today's market, I'm going to leave my link down in the description to have a chat with me and my team, and we can explain to you how all of this process works. It's a pay as you go kind of model, meaning you only pay for qualified quotes that you can actually deliver, build a relationship with the client so you can get the best bang for your buck. No one else is doing it like this. We have the highest quality, and I haven't met anyone yet or another business in New Zealand here that's doing it like this. And with the strategies that we have, no one's able to beat the costs, because we're not in here trying to make as much money as we possibly can, although obviously we want to make as much money, but we know that that's just helping you make more money. Because if we can help you make more money, you're going to want to give us more money to help you make more money. So we're trying to create this win-win transparent system where the homeowner wins, the tradie wins, and we win. So we can all do better business together and grow our businesses, grow our communities, grow our economy, so we can get back to a place where we don't have to worry about rubbing two dimes together. Appreciate you taking the time. This has probably been a bit of a longer video than normal. This is great chatting about all of these kind of things. If you have any questions, drop them in the description. If you want any other specific videos, you want any other insights that we have from our point of view, just let me know. I know this channel's been growing, our social medias have been growing, everyone's seeing our ads everywhere, and this is a really exciting time for us here at My Rental Quotes and the whole team that we've got here. So we're going to be producing more content. I'm actually moving up to Auckland. I'm based in Taranaki at the moment, so we can be closer to the clients in Auckland, shoot some content, and it's going to be a really exciting time. So I'm actually moving up next Sunday. It's currently the 28th or 29th of May of time of recording this video. So we appreciate you all, and I'll speak to you guys all very soon.